Oh, hello. Demikis as always. On the chat on the road, on Demikis profile and on YouTube. Sorry, it just caught me by mistake. So, everybody who is sharing, who is listening to this, you are welcome. I'm here to make a few comments regarding about protecting ourselves about associated discrimination. But we are critically looking at points, critically analyzing. And for that, I bring you our president. I think this video can lead us to what I want to speak about. Our president, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me. Please share. Thank you. Abarwadde Patricia Nkutumide. Mwena mumbere bonna. And okay, this video is so important. I want everybody to take these words as important because I'm going to speak about this in not so over attack, but in analyzing critically what did this message take us.
This background that has enabled me to understand the struggles of the common Ugandans. 35 years ago, Museveni started feeding off taxpayers' money and living in absolute abundance. Him and his cronies are completely detached from the common person. And no wonder they mock our people because they've impoverished them, battered them, and suppressed them. And that is why in this election, I am representing the weak. I am representing the poor. I am representing the downtrodden. I am representing those that have been excluded from a system which works only for a few, and of course, sitting and stepping on the necks of the many. I am representing the overtaxed business people. I'm representing the parents that have sold all their land to take their children to school, and now their children cannot find jobs. I am representing the border riders who are persecuted every day after being made to pay large sums of money. I am representing those wives and mothers that cannot afford maternal health. I am representing the business person who borrows money at high rates and cannot figure out how to pay it. I'm representing the local suppliers who were kicked out of government tenders simply because they don't know anybody in government. I am representing poor Ugandans who have lost land to the powerful land grabbers, and many of them are in government. Yes, those who cannot get justice because justice under Museveni is for sale. I am representing the poor soldiers, the police officers who are so oppressed, yet they are commanded to beat and kill citizens who they are supposed to protect simply because they must appease the rich. Those rich and the mighty are the ones we are standing against. In this election, gentlemen and ladies, I am representing the hardworking people of Usoga that have been deliberately kept.
Hello, that message from our president. I'm such a person who respects the leaders, regardless where they come from. Once they are my leaders, they are my leaders. That message was for 2020 on 3rd November. I remember where I was. But before I connect that message to my message of today, I need to remind you, we have got 34 NUF prisoners in Chitaria. We have got 7 in Ruzila prison. We have got 2 in Chigo prison. We have got so many who are missing. And we have got those who are home nursing wounds. And we have got those who are scared even to come out. And we have got so many children left without their parents, without their mothers. We have got so many children who have never known to call somebody daddy in the house, mommy in the house. Those are important points. Things that you take for granted, that you have a mother, you have a father, you have a sister, you have a brother, you have a relative. These children will never have that chance. So we are bringing up a nation, a generation which is already traumatized and which has already being squeezed out by dictatorial regime. To my point, we need to look at the message of our president critically, analyze what it means. When he speaks something, it doesn't end there. This message I'm using today is of November 2020. Why am I speaking to that? The president has just said what he's going to represent on behalf of the NUP. The NUP, I'm going to show you another clip, maybe at the end. What NUP will represent. So today, I'm here to tell you, how can we protect ourselves against discriminated against associated discrimination? What do I mean? Discrimination associated that because you are NUP member, you're gonna end up in a prison. They're gonna shoot you. They're gonna abduct you. They're gonna kidnap you. They're gonna harass you. They're gonna stop you for work. All sorts of discrimination because you are associated, you are a friend of Robert Chagran, or you play for ghetto, or you media, anybody. We saw Cassidy in Ashraf Cassidy in America. He's there because he was associated with Bobby Wine. He was doing media job because he's associated with the NUP. So how are we going to protect ourselves? Fellow Ugandans, we should no longer take things for granted. I think many of you want me to come and speak about Nadridge, Akana. No, I can only give it a few seconds, few minutes. But that message does not take us somewhere because our president says this is what he stands for. Somebody dies, very simple, they have died. Somebody does this, it all happens. But what do we represent for? This is what is separating the message. This is what's separating the men from boys, from women to the girls. This is the message we need to amplify home. What do we stand for? Because I'm looking at President is building. He's telling us we have to be organized. I would like to thank Secretary General Louis Rubongoya. I saw his post insisting on the word being organized. Our president is not going to come and speak like me. Our president is going to speak in parables, is going to make statements. Not few months ago, he said on BBS, he will not have an alternative to stop angry people. And that happened in Ruel few days ago. So our president is going to speak something. It's up to us to pick up the statement, the words, we amplify them. But other people, what they are doing, they are disassembling what our president is building. Our president wants this message to go to the people, what we represent for. And you bring message which is emotional. Gundi Afude. Yes, that message is very good. But you tell me, what message is it going to help us at the ballot box? What message somebody is going to fight for? If you tell me I'm going to represent border, somebody is going to fight at the ballot box. Don't rig election. If you tell me I'm going to build hospitals for you, then somebody is going to have more importance, more energy, more enthusiasm to fight. Some people, they fight for money, but we are looking at short. We are looking at long term. NUP, we want to go to a new Uganda. We want to go to a new Uganda, which is different. Of all Ugandans who will grow up when they know their rights, when they get their rights. Not by begging, not by being held up as prisoners, as slaves, but by their rights that they are Ugandans. So how are we going to move? I'm going to speak briefly because the attack is coming from all sides. Otherwise, we're going to be mourning and mourning, so and so is dead, and then it takes us a few weeks to overcome that. But the message is there, what our president is telling us. What does he represent? And what he represents is you and I who want a new Uganda, who believe in ideology of people power, people-centered government. That is what we have to know. we need to protect ourselves. We need to mobilize. Mobilize. Push up the message. Tell the message. Tell people. This is why I'm talking about civil education and civil disobedience. People, when you talk about civil disobedience, some people, they are being put up. They think it is aggression. It's not aggression. Civil disobedience is understanding your rights, understanding your entitlement, understanding you must fight against injustice, understanding you have to stand up. And as we, people power, we stand and we say we are going to go for free and fair. We are going to go for non-violent. And when you talk about non-violence, this is how you have to do it. Civil disobedient. Civil disobedient. We are not beating anybody. We are not doing anything, but we are going to use activism. We are going to use mobilization. We are going to form a way. How are we going to mobilize? How are we going to use our codes? Now they are brought in this computer misuse. There are so many various ways to go over this computer misuse. We can start identifying people by codes. And how do we do it? We are going to do it by mobilization, by coordination, that we share information. Also, we have to look among us. Who are these people coming in us, using us, turning in us, sharing our information, letting us down? So when we mobilize, we have to find a way we clean up ourselves, we clean our circles, how we trust each other, how we are going against each other, how we are dealing with people who are suspects. So mobilization is very, very important. Activism is very, very important. Our president says again and again, exposure and exposure. We have got the best platform. Social media, which I'm using now, Echoto Reloaded. Thank you for hosting me. Echoto YouTube. Thank you for hosting me. I'm on Udemy. Other people you are sharing. Thank you so much. So we have got the best platform. How are we going to protect ourselves? Listen to stories. So and so was abducted. How was he abducted? Did he have a telephone call? Who is that person? What is the meeting place they abducted that person? So how are we going to do this? We need post again and again. Free the prisoners, bring back our people. We have to emphasize this again and again. Everybody talks about Jakana Nadri died. He's great. He's what? I'm not going to be among them. But one thing that I liked to see on the burial was civil disobedience. The people, they went there, they were not violent. They went there with the posters to show whoever is coming, bring back our people. Because first of all, the space of our activism has been squeezed out. There is no political space for opposition in Uganda. And that is why EU took a stand about human rights. That is what EU means. The government abusing human rights. They are not giving us a space to express ourselves. And sooner or later, disobedience takes over. So how we protect ourselves matters. We need a legal arm on the ground to counter that we have Shamim Malende. She's a juror. She goes to the court. We need more lawyers to come out. We need more people to go in the court to protect and to protest against illegal imprisonment of NUP people. We need that. We need intelligence arm on the ground. Like I said to you, the cat is out of the bag. Now we knew who was against, somebody who was ordering to capture our people, to arrest our people. Now we know that. We no longer have any doubt. And now I said we are going to start seeing those people who are behind adapting. And guess what? Majembele said it himself. So the dictator is getting squeezed out. Their space, our space shrink, their space is getting wiped off, because dictatorial under 21st century, it will no longer work. You can stop me to speak, that the PC will speak, the phone will speak, the social media will speak. So fellow Ugandans, we need to protect ourselves against associated discrimination. Should we be going for burial now? How are we going to go for burial? And our president says organization. Who is going to speak? How are we going to position ourselves when we go to the burial to protect our interests? Because we have got kidnappers, we have got people, we have got drones surrounding. How is it gonna be? Do you have competent drivers as well? All these, they matter a lot, but some of associated discrimination, we need to know we are being identified. Once you stand out, speak for NUP, once they pick you on, they're gonna come after you. This is no secret, so you need to be aware of that. You are not special. Even if we are NUP, we will die for NUP, but on the other side, you need to find the balance. Don't let yourself open. If you walk alone in the night, minimize that. Get your phone charged. Get your people notified. Because we are against this. But however, we should never give up. So civil education is a part that I'm doing. We should always educate ourselves again and again. The basics. What are the basics? NUP, decide the time you're going to do this. Decide the time you're going to say this. So our president, when he says this is what he stands for, we need to take it for granted. Because for me, I'm a little bit puzzled. And I say, death is normal. These are the things happening. We underestimate the hashtag, which says we are removing a dictator. We have to go back to that hashtag. We have to remind ourselves again and again. What does that hashtag mean? We are removing a dictator. Whatever we are complaining about, it's not ordinary. It's ordinary. It's normal in a dictatorial world. But what we are seeing new tricks. Because we saw Tamale Mirundi was crying, Fawo of his son being beaten. Then Owo Tandalo, his son was killed. Then this Naduri, his son has died. All those, they are mysterious. This is why we need research, to give a research team in NUP to collect all this information. How many people are being killed? Who kills them? What did they die? What age? All that information, when you talk about international community, that is how they want it. They want to win, bagala number ku number, because for them they go by numbers. So we are seeing now a sequence, something, a pattern, that children of so and so, they are being killed or they die in something so suspicious. For me, I'm not even surprised that Naguri is saying whatever he's saying. I'm not even surprised, unless you don't know what NRM does to people's mind. People like Mukasambide, his wife gets killed, suspicious, he comes in the media, and then next time, he goes to NRM, now he gets a job. So, reward, same reward. I want to put this across. NUP, we are not going to be associated with the religion. We are not going to be associated with the culture. Those are barriers. You could find that some people, they find excuse in the religion why Jacana was killed. And the other people, they find excuse in the culture. That is how a dictator is playing on your mind. We shall never be. There are things that which can unite us, like policies, like how you do things by policies, but not by religion, not by culture. Because once you start putting factions there, it's gone. So, my dear, we need to know we are against NAP associated discrimination. I cannot speak because I don't like to speak for so long. We have to know we are being pinned out. We are being identified. We are a target. And then we have got all these parasites coming back because they can see there is money which Mhoz is going to give out to Abogo. Any NRM opportunities. Now they come in NAP, then they apologize, then they make live show, then they attack Anselco, they attack Balam, they attack Mhoz, and then they'll be given money, and then they go back. Their tongue will go, they will start wagging. So we have to be, let us not be naive. Let us be naive. We have to be straightforward. So, civil versus military. Where we stand, NRM is about militarization and NUP is about civil governance. There is a big difference. How do you deal with things? Of all the issues which is happening in Uganda, if we are into civil governance, the computer misuse wouldn't be there. It's very simple. We have got laws there in place. We have to introduce a way of civil engagement, civil disobedience. People, they see it as it doesn't work. It works because politics is about interaction. We need to be civil, and we come on the table and we say no. If you say this, we say no. Then we ask people, where are the ambulances? I read in the paper where they said that the Ministry of Education has said education has gone so down. So we need to sit on the table and ask them, how did it go down? So what happened? What about educational curriculum you brought? What changes? How do you pay teachers? Do you pay them well? What do you do? So civil. This is what NUP stands for. People-centered government. It is our ideology. People power is our ideology, that we are going to put ordinary person first. We are going to look at my mother in Lusakara Mese. Can she travel from Lusakara Mese to Kalisizo? If for today she comes from Lusakara Mese to Kalisizo, takes her 2 hours or 3 hours, NUP is going to look at having that time my mother is going to travel. That is what NUP is going to do. How is it going to do it? They are going to build these health centers nearby, or they are going to construct roads. They are going to put their regular transport to come from Sakaramese to Kalisizo and make public transport, not having car owners which pass by once in a day, once in 5 hours. All those, we are looking at civil. But what NRM does is about authoritarian, the Bakusamani Gachuma. What they do, if anything happens, we shall bring in a bill. We shall make it a law. We shall enact. We shall sign it. You don't have anything to do. We shall gazette it. What they do, people, they are wearing this bandana. No, you should not wear that. If you wear that, you'll be taken to court. We have got so many comrades, they are in prison. Some they are missing, some they are dead because of wearing a red beret. But that is militarization. They believe they are low-caste. Oh, no research, nothing at all. And then the army will go wherever they know their low-caste is. People in Karamoja are dying of hunger every day. We need the numbers on the ground. We need the numbers. How many people are dying of hunger? And what does militarization they do? They go and find those who are making gin tonic, warage. Oh, they find it, they invite cameras, and then they will start powering that on the. But they haven't looked on the source. I've been listening to one of my favorite deputy NUP, and he's talking about something to do with the jobs, whatever. Something that has gone wrong is about the policies. With the NRM, we just need to know that. So when we are looking at civil, we are looking at within us. How are we going to civil educate people? Let me tell you something, people. We have got a big problem, but what we need is civil education. Civic education will change our mindset. Like our president is in America. People with the bad mindset, they are thinking about he's meeting Bazungu, he's getting money, he's gonna come loaded in money. Now when he comes back, other people they are going to be poor. For him, he will be rich. Why would you support him? You are going to die, your children will die. Those are the things that goes into people's mind. So we need to teach people the basics. We need to be discussing the basics. We need to talk about what NUP stands for. But when you bring message that gets into people's head, everybody is scared of death. Everybody is scared of being sick. Everybody is scared of being identified. People, they're gonna be taken by that. And that will attract lots. That will give you lots of numbers. But in terms of movement, as in politics, in a direction, you are quashing down the message by our president. Because our president is telling you what we stand for. Why don't you bring message by what our president is saying, what he stands for? He's saying he's going to stand for people border. He's going to stand for unemployment. He's going to stand for slavery. He's going to stand. And you think you are better than the president? I'm not speaking to anybody in particular, but we should be able to learn how to take on the message by the president. Because when the president said he was speaking on nomination day, it's not my word. And these are words that NRM doesn't want to get out. As long as you are going with the what, and people be proud about. This is what our president said again on nomination day. What we stand for.
Poor by the NRM regime. I am representing the great people of Acholi, whose land is being stolen in broad daylight by the regime and its cooperatives. I am representing the people of Lango, who have been deliberately marginalized and disempowered for the past 3 decades. They have been deliberately marginalized and squeezed. I am representing the impoverished people of Karamoja, who are kept under the barrel of the gun while their gold, their copper, their cobalt, and iron ores are stolen away by the rich and mighty. I am representing the people of Unyoro, who live and grow cheap crops on the oil that is theirs. Yes, their oil has been kept in the dark because they are looked at as they don't have a right to know what is happening in their land. I am representing the people of Bugishu, whose past glory has been shattered by the present regime. Their cooperatives, which kept them rich and productive, were destroyed by the regime. I am representing the people of Chigezi, who work so hard to earn little. I am representing the people of Bukedi, who have been turned into beggars on their own land. Representing the people of Uganda, whose land has been grabbed and they are left poor. They are made beggars. They are made slaves on the land of their grandfathers. I am representing all the people of Uganda, ladies and gentlemen, representing the people of Toro, the people of Rwenzori, who live in constant fear because of the brutal regime. Those who are battered in 2018, whose wounds are still fresh in the minds. I represent them. I represent the youth who are very hardworking, and yet they have no way to break through the yoke of oppression. The youth that work so hard but don't have the means of production. They don't have no land, they don't have no capital, and they have limited or no opportunities. These are the people I am representing. I am representing this section, the vast majority who are oppressed, yearning for freedom. I'm representing the journalists who cannot even peacefully practice their work without being harassed and beaten by the regime. I am representing the health workers who are paid peanuts for doing incredible work. I am representing my mother, who was a nurse, who had 10 children and who died a miserable life because when she got an accident and put in Molago casualty, she had to stay there an hour in a hospital she served for more than 20 years. I am here.
Yes, President. Ebigambe byayogedde. binene nnyo naye kiri gy'oli sinnawuliramu kigambo kikwatagana ku byobuwangwa ku kyamadiini naye ayogera ku kintu ekisobola okuyamba omuntu owa bulijjo nze naawe ekigenda okuyamba maama wange ekigenda okuyamba tata wange ekigenda okuyamba ekyalo kyange naye gwe bw'oleeta message ate ng'ekwata walala message eyo eba eyiwa amazzi ku bigambo bya pulezidenti message eyo eba etuulira ebigambo ebyo ebya pulezidenti bye twagala bitambule ebigenda okutambula mu bwalo abantu bakuuma akabokisi nga bamanyi nti ono omukulembeze bw'ajja n'akikwatamu bw'ati kino kyagenda okutereeza ono omukulembeze bw'ajja n'akikwatamu bw'ati ono amalwaliro tugenda kubeera nako amakubo bagenda gakola abaana baffe tebagenda kuddeyo genda buwalabu tugenda kusobola okusula mu mayemba amalungi bw'ate n'ojja n'oleeta message bwe ate n'ogireeta kale n'ebirala byogereko nti omukulembeze ono agambye yazzeewo okuyimirira ku nsonga zino kubanga ffe tuli NUP twakamala ekibiina twakakimalamu emyezi 27 gokka tukyali baana naye ate tetukyali baana tetukyalina kiseera kubeera awo kubeera baana naye ng'ensonga enkulu eriwo nti olw'okuba batusosola batutta batusiba batuwamba batubuutikidde batubuzizzaako emirembe kubanga tulina ebigambo nga bino bye bataagala bituuke lusaka lwa mmese bye bataagala bigende Kasese bye bataagala bigende Bukiga bye bataagala bigende Kotigo Bannayuganda tulina omulimu munene nnyo ekintu kye bayita nti tulina okusomesa abantu ate tulina naffe okweyigiriza bino ebintu ebya bulijjo ate tulina okubayigiriza okweyimiriza okuyimirirawo ne bagamba kino tekijja kukolebwa gundi twakuwa akalulu naye amalwaliro galinga bwe gali gundi twakuwa akalulu amakubo mafu abantu okuyimirirawo gundi ne bamugamba ssemateeka agamba bw'ati tetugenda kukkiriza kintu kino kubeerawo nga tugenda tweyigiriza NUP kugamba nti yo egenda kulwanyisa bulwadde obwavu n'okubeera nga tetuli balabufu nnyo by'ebintu bye tulina okutunuulira. Fellow Ugandans, as I wind up, critically, how can we analyze the situation in Uganda? The answer, we are fighting a dictator. We are removing a dictator. The answer, our mission is 2021, to get into the freedom. But then, if that is the biggest question, how do you deal with that? You have to identify what is your enemy, what is the problem, how do they succeed, how do they abduct our people, how do they kidnap, how do they suppress people, how do they intimidate, and then you find an answer. At this moment now, they've gone back, the drones are back. It's in the media, it's in everywhere, and everybody can see it. So it is coming against the NUP. That is why I said protect ourselves from associated discrimination, because you were a friend of Robert Chagulanyi, because you are a friend of NUP, you were a sympathizer, you were a volunteer, you contribute to NUP. Now, even if somebody is not going to do anything, they don't want anybody to contribute money to bring people from Saudi Arabia, because it's NUP initiative, because the government is full of embarrassment and is guilty. If they are guilty, it's not our problem. Our duty is we are people-centered government. We are people-centered government, so it's our duty to care and cater for anybody. But however, you have to know you are under scrutiny, you are under discrimination because you are associated to the word NUP. This is why our president is not allowed on the media. The songs are not being played. He's not allowed to work. He's not allowed freedom of movement, whereas our constitution stipulates and allows him so much. So, civil education versus militarization. We have to learn to teach ourselves by civil means. Ring somebody, email somebody, WhatsApp somebody. But the receiver is the problem that we have in Uganda. Somebody receives a message, criticism, critical construction, and then you will take it badly. We come in the camera. You cannot tell me this. And then you are inciting other people to join you to fight somebody. That is not the way it should be. We have to learn to take criticism, whether it's good or bad. Once you are in the public, you are there to be shot at. I'm here somebody to say anything, to make any comment. And if we are going in a new Uganda, we should welcome any sort of, we should always tolerate, we should welcome any sort of criticism. If you like to be praised, you are in the wrong place. Politics is not like that. UK, they have changed the prime minister. After 4 weeks, Liz Truss is gone, then this one is in. And we have trouble because the ambassador is more what in that community. So I'm not going to go there. Civil education. We teach ourselves the simple. How do we do this? How do we get organized? Our president is crying loud that if we get organized, ajja kikwatamu. Ate gwe ng'olowooza nti akulimba. Ate gwe ng'olowooza nti nze bwe njogera abantu bwe bati bwe bandaba. I should not listen to Kyagulanyi. Bwe ngera eyo point saagitegedde. Lwaki tewagitegedde? Gwogoba ki? Ogenda wa? Leader tulina omu yekka. Tewaliyo leader mulala. Ne bw'oba ng'owandiika ku mazzi, leader ali omu. Nze one of the things I've seen in Uganda, they are good at something. Okwogera president wange. But then president wange akugambe what he stands for. Maybe every day you should find out. Give yourself time. What is the education? What is the border? What is the roads? Randi grabbing yona agyogedde. Naye abantu tuli awo twetooloola eno. Oye politics gwe tumanyi. Kale n'abooluganda ekintu kyonna ebintu byonna bwe tuba tubitunuulira. Tubitunuulira mu ngeri efaanana bwetu. Kati civil and military. We are never for us tugenda kubeera nga tuli non-violent. But there is a time they will test us and we will respond. But we have to justify why did we respond the way we responded. But if we have civil education, we are going to go through the stage. We are going to envisage to say, how are we going to organize against Majembere? How are we going to mobilize against Majembere? How are we going to prevent another Majembere kickback? How are we going to deal with that situation? Among us, who is the leader to lead us? Among us, when we go for the burial, how do we stand? How do we start? Oh, Shadow Minister, Chiwanuka Abdallah. I don't know. But he is our shadow minister. He doesn't come out to speak any abduction. He is the internal minister, NUP shadow. Internal. I haven't heard him say anything about abduction, kidnap. God forgive me if he has. But I saw him on the burial, introducing himself as the shadow minister of internal affairs. Please. Pick up the bag, get on your backside and do something, and say something. People, they are being kidnapped for fun. Well, for Ugandans, we can speak all day, we can't even win. But remember our hashtag, we are removing a dictator. If you are surprised of what is going to happen, I feel very sorry for you. But think about, you were a target as associated discrimination. Also, you can bring all these videos to be emotional, so and so you say, so and so you get it. Yes, those videos, dijja kutambula, because that is what it is about. But then think about to talk about what our president say he's going to represent. That message is 2020. NRM didn't want him to say that message, but he said it. So what do we represent? What is going? Kiki ekigenda tuzimba? Kiki ekitutwala maaso? Kiki ky'otaddewo which is going to be on people's heart that will make them sad and not make them do something? But what message are you going to tell the people? I'm going to build a school. I'm going to build a road there that will motivate people to go and say we are going to keep the vote. Will motivate people and to go and vote for you. Will motivate people to say enough is enough. At this time, Ugandans, they haven't said enough is enough. Let me tell you something before I leave. Ghana people, they have stood up for their president being in a 46 convoy car. Nkidemu banagana bakozeseza civil disobedient ne bagaana ne boogera nga boogera ku ngeri pulezidenti waabwe gy'atambulira mu mmotoka 46. Owaffe atambulira mu meka? Nze nabalaka 38 naye ffe tumulese. Ebintu byonna bibeerawo, batuga abantu baffe bane Uganda. Simanyi nakumanya oba ki ekigenda okutusitula, sinaba kukimanya. Naye Mukama waffe atukuume, Mukama waffe atuyambe, naye tugende mu maaso nga tulowooza ku bintu bino. Tweziyiziza tutya? Tulowooza ebintu, coordination, being organized, timing, support each other, share information, legal arm, intelligence arm. Tewetaaga kubeera trained nti oli wa intelligence. Any information gy'olina, pick it up, share it with the headquarters, share it with your MPs, share it with your local what. Ebintu ebyo bye tulina okukola ffenna, tulina okubikola. Ate tolina kubeera special nominated. Ate tolina kubeera na information when you want to sell it to NRM for money. I think we are letting ourselves down. Unless you don't think about Uganda, things will happen, things will change. It's not going to change tomorrow, but if you have a president, if you have a government in place, it's what is going to help us to overcome the problems in Uganda. Nay, once we step here, let us send the message of what our president is doing. Gwe nojja n'oyomba, n'ogamba gundi yakoze kino, n'oyomba n'okola otya. Yes, ojja kwogera. Naye nze mpuliriza Robert Kyagulanyi. I can really pick him up. Waliwo ebintu bye sinaba kuwulira. And he's only 40. He's only 40. Byaliwo ebintu bye sinaba kuwulira. Naye simanyi abantu abalala mubijjawo oba tubijjawo. Kale tubasanyukidde nnyo. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalirira. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being with me. I'm gonna read your comments again and again. And that is where we have to go. When I'm in number, ngenda kubayitamu wano nsome comments zammwe. Salute. People power, our power, our power. People power. NUP everywhere, everywhere. NUP, salute.